Hold on, wait a second. So you telling me as my boxing coach that boxing or even kickboxing is not the king of mixed martial arts?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Greetings. Welcome to Zachary Carter TV. I'm Zachary Carter, an open elite 147-pound boxer. And today we're going to be talking about UFC 294. Joining me today is my coach and the co-host, Coach Carter.
Greetings. Thank you for having me. So let's talk about UFC 294. In the main event, Islam Makhachev defeated Alexander Volkanovski by a head kick. And in the co-main event, Khamzat defeated Kamaru Usman by a majority decision.
So Coach, what is your takeaways from UFC 294?
Well, my main takeaway is that out of all of the martial arts, wrestling is the king martial arts in mixed martial art.
Hold on, wait a second. So you telling me as my boxing coach that boxing or even kickboxing is not the king of mixed martial arts?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, what I'm saying is nothing new. It's nothing groundbreaking. This is pretty much the conventional view of mixed martial arts, that wrestling is the king martial arts. But this particular UFC card, it really brought that in focus. I mean, it really proved it. You have Kamaru Usman and you have Alexander Volkanovski both losing in their fights on this card. And to me, it seemed like they were clearly the better strikers in their respective matches. But because of the threat of the wrestling or the takedown, I mean, to me, it seemed like they was only operating at like 70%. So what I'm saying is they couldn't really commit to their striking. They couldn't be decisive. Neither one of them could attack with ferocity. They were pot shotting and they was dinking and dunking. Like American football. You got those quarterbacks that like a Dan Marino or John Elway. My favorite quarterback is from the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he could sling it down the field in one shot and get 50 yards a shot. We're from Chicago, so we're used to quarterbacks who dinks and dunks down the field. So, it's just not the same. When you watch all of their other fights, they attack with decisiveness. They're ferocious in their attacks, especially Volkanovski. I mean, he's going to get you out of there. He literally uses his endurance or his pace as a weapon. Yet against Makhachev, he's very hesitant in his attacks. He's very wary that Makhachev is just going to time him and take him down, and he's right. He's absolutely right. So he had to be very cautious in his attacks, and he literally stayed in the range where Makhachev can land that high kick. I mean, everyone knows against a person who's very dangerous, you either be way away or you be in close. Now, he could not get in close because Makhachev would just take him down. And, he's not the type of fighter that he doesn't fight on his back foot. So he's not going to be way away. So he's literally staying in the range where it's perfect for Makhachev. And it's all because of the threat of the takedown. I remember when Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor were promoting their fight a number of years back. What I really remember about that promotion, what Conor McGregor said to Floyd Mayweather, he said, hey, if I ever met you on the streets or in the alley, I don't care if you're the greatest boxer in the world, I'll still kick your butt because he has all these other skills. And that really struck me. That really struck me. And I vowed, at least when it comes to you, nobody will ever be able to say that to you. That's why to this day, you're still wrestling. You're in college, you're doing very well in school. There's no doubt in my mind that you're going to be a world champion boxer. And people often tell me, well, why do you continue to let them wrestle? I mean, I literally lose you for a good 3 months to wrestling, where there's absolutely no boxing training. I mean, it's all wrestling. You're on the team and the coaches got you. So I literally lose you for a quarter of the year to wrestling, and people just don't understand why wrestling is the one martial art where after high school or after college, you just can't go learn wrestling. You could go learn boxing. You could come to me to learn boxing. You could learn mixed martial arts. You could learn judo, jiu-jitsu, Thai boxing, pretty much whatever you want. But as far as pure wrestling, you just can't go and learn folk style wrestling, freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. And not only that, you can't be in a room where you got people with high skill levels of wrestling where you sparring against those people, because we all know in order to get better in any martial arts, you got to spar. You got to spar against good people. That's why I never pulled you out of wrestling. You have this opportunity to continue your wrestling throughout your college life, and it's just an opportunity we're just going to take advantage of. I'm just never going to pull you out. We never know what's going to happen in the future. Even though you're going to be a world champion boxer, we always have that in our back pocket. But getting back to UFC 294, the reason why boxing or kickboxing or Muay Thai is not the king, at least when it comes to facing really good wrestlers, is because you can't go all out. You can't go all out in your striking, because you have to hold back. You have to constantly hold back. And not only that, you can't get inside and land your strongest shots. A lot of people have a misunderstanding about the type of punches that typically knocks people out. Most people think it's that long right hand, or as a southpaw, that long left hand. But that's really a misconception. People look at Tommy Hearns, or they look at Deontay Wilder, and they knock you out with that pretty long right hand. And people think that's typically how person get knocked out. And if you look at UFC, at the main events, that's what they were throwing. They were throwing jabs and long right hands. It just wasn't enough to really put the wrestlers down. You got to get in there and hit them what I call crooked shots. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just watch highlights of Julian Jackson. He never really knocked people out with them pretty long right hands. He knocked people out with right hooks and left hooks. And the reason why you knock people out or you hurt people with crooked shots is because you're able to use your kinetic chain. You're able to put torque in your punches by using your hips. People like Tommy Hearns and Deontay Wilder, they are blessed by God to just have that power where they could just throw them pretty punches and just catch you and you just go to sleep. But most of the rest of the world, it's just not blessed like that. So you use your kinetic chain, you use your hips, you use the torque that comes from the ground up and is delivered through your punches to hurt your opponents. And when you face wrestlers, you're not able to be decisive to get in there and hit them with those type of shots. And that's what makes facing wrestlers so dangerous, because if you can't get in there to hurt them and they're just lurking just right off the line looking to shoot the takedown, really good wrestlers, they're going to get the takedown. They are going to get the takedown. UFC 294, it really put that in focus to me, especially the knockout with Volkanovski. I mean, he's hanging right there, just off the line, just perfect, just to eat Makhachev's kicks, because he just couldn't be decisive enough to get on the line and crack Makhachev. He was so worried about the takedown. Yeah, so for the most part, if you got kids, put them in wrestling young. So that's what I got out of UFC 294 is wrestling is king. It's pretty tough to deny that. Amazing jiu-jitsu people can somewhat offset wrestling, but wrestling offsets amazing jiu-jitsu people, because the amazing jiu-jitsu people got to get you on the ground to be amazing, and wrestling is just keep it on their feet. Wrestlers got the counter for everyone else. Even jiu-jitsu versus strikers, the threat of takedowns is just not there. But it seems like wrestlers they got the answer no matter who they face. Wrestling is the king of mixed martial arts. Yep. So that's it. There's always other factors that could eliminate that. I mean, if you have crazy power, for instance, Ngannou, he's one of those guys, if he just touch you, you go to sleep. But you have to have some type of God-given talent to be able to offset the natural advantages that wrestlers have over the rest of the mixed martial artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, it was a good event. The UFC 294 was a good event.
Yep. UFC 294 was an incredible event. Very exciting. Had a lot of exciting fights, a lot of exciting moments. I want to thank you guys for joining us on this podcast as we talked about UFC 294. Please like and subscribe to Zachary Carter TV. This has been Zachary Carter. We out.